Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation today. This will be about how human rights are exploited every day. My name is Angie Araya, and my student ID is 21751020. So let us begin by knowing what are human rights. Now, human rights are rights we have simply because we exist as human beings, and they are not granted by any state. These universal rights are inherited to us all, regardless of nationality, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, and any other status. They range from the most fundamental, from the right to life, to those that makes life worth living, such as the right of food, education, work, health, and liberty. Human rights were established in response to the atrocities done during World War II, this including the Holocaust. Human rights violations. So, when those rights aforementioned aren't protected and blatantly disregarded, they are violated. A state can commit human rights violation either directly or indirectly. Violations can be either intentionally performed by the state or they can be performed as a result of the state failing to prevent these violations. Intentional means is when a state engages in human rights violations. Various actors can be involved, such as the police, judges, prosecutors, government officials, and so on. The violation can be physically violent in nature, such as a police brutality, while rights such as the right to a fair trial can also be violent, where non-physical violence is involved. The second type of violation is the failure by the state to protect. Now, this occurs when there's a conflict between individuals or groups within a society. If the state does not intervene and protect vulnerable people and groups, it's also participating in these violations. We have a perfect example of this is the Black Lives Matter movement, where the state failed to protect Black Americans, where lynchings frequently occurred around the country. Um, since many of those responsible for the lynching were also police officers, in other words, state actors, this means that both times types of violations were occurring at the same time. So human rights being violated every day. What are those human rights that are being violated every single day around the world? And maybe we know about them, but we don't actually think about them much, or we don't see ourselves being put on those positions where other people are in. We have genocide. Violence interacts with gender, race, and religion. After World War II, genocide became one of the main capital crimes against human rights. Sadly, even if this is the case, war is still an ongoing issue in places like Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq. We also have starvation. All humans have the right of having its basic needs, such as water, food, and housing. Third world countries like South Africa suffer from starvation, and its source rages deeper than the lack of food or health or anything. It goes all the way to political state involvement. Healthcare. Every human being has the right to be healthy and receive assistance if needed. It has become noticeably during this pandemic. Um, Healthcare has become actually a luxury instead of a human right. Education. After decades of fighting for educational system to be delivered to all children, no matter if women or if men, places like Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Chad, Mali had the highest level of gender disparity in primary education. Once again, we see how education has become a luxury more than basic human rights, similar to what happens with health. So then, what can you do? What can we do to stop this or help prevent this or help the situations? I'm going to give you 5 examples. And the first one, it's speak up for what you care about. One brave voice opens the channel for others to share their experience. Volunteer or donate to a global organization. We have Oxfam and also UNICEF that supports human rights around the world. Listen to others. There is incredible power in listening to someone's story, especially one that is vastly different from what yours is. Stay connected with social movements, as well as the Life Blacks Matter. It was such a movement that travel around the world. Stand up against discrimination. Stand up, as well as speaking up. You can also be part of changes. Remember that every action, no matter how small, has the potential to make a difference. Thank you very much.